Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today I'm going to go over a story that hands down is one of the crazier stories I've covered on this channel, and certainly in a long time. You're definitely going to get your money's worth. Titled, I discovered my wife created an online network of fake people and spoke to me as all of them for the last year. I don't know whether to forgive her or leave. And a shout to Ron for sending in this story. And guys, this guy's in his late 20s. He's been married not too long to this woman. And for the last year or so, he spends a lot of time online talking to people in some capacity, wherever that may be, Facebook or Reddit or I don't know where, online things. And it turns out he discovered that all these people he talked to regularly for like a year, many hours a day, was all his wife, who created all these fake accounts and was back and forth talking to him, influencing him, not to mention to marry her. Freaking loony. And now he's just so shocked by this whole thing because when they're together, she seems like a great person and caring and loving, and this massive deception going on here. It's nuts. And I'm going over this, guys, because, well, let's just say it's really out there and entertaining. And the appropriate name of the channel is They Did What? Well, that's warranted here. But also, to remind you guys, really pay attention. Do your homework on the girl you get involved with, let alone decide to marry. And there are a lot of people out there that are, well, very deceitful, very full of crap, and not to mention mental. And this chick is bonkers. So, like I said, get your popcorn, get your drink. You're definitely getting to get your money's worth today. So it starts off, he says, I'm posting anonymously because I generally don't know what to think anymore, and I need unbiased opinions. I'm a man in my late 20s and recently discovered something that has completely shattered my understanding of my relationship and marriage. Over the last year, there were several people in my life whom I believe were real individuals. I spoke to them almost every single day. These weren't casual conversations. Many days we would talk for 5 to 6 hours. They knew intimate details about my life, my family, my career, my relationships, my fears, and my future plans. So like I said in the beginning, this is a guy who obviously is very socially awkward, since he's spending all this time talking to strangers online. This guy definitely needs some help with getting out there and talking to people, but you'll see where this goes. Well, I trusted them. I considered some of them close friends. I shared things with them that I did not share with many others. Recently, I discovered that none of them were real. They were all my wife. Whoa. Yeah, that's screwed up. It's kind of amazing he actually has a wife, given that he's so socially awkward and his people he talks to are online. I mean, I know people will chit-chat online with each other and stuff like that, but most people that do that, like say in comment sections on videos I do, it's for fun. It's not like dead serious, the only socializing you have. It was all his wife? Well, we're just getting started. What makes this even harder to process is that this wasn't just one fake profile or one fake friend. She created an entire network of people with different personalities, writing styles, opinions, relationships, and life stories. That's because she probably has multiple personalities in that crazy head of hers. One of them was presented to me as a very wealthy friend from a billionaire family. I generally believe this person existed. Okay, smack. What are the odds that a billionaire is chit-chatting with you? You think he or she, wherever it is, have bigger things to do with their time than, seriously? And also, yeah, like I said, this guy is obviously very gullible. There were also identities for his special needs brother, his parents, and even the family lawyer. Over time, I became emotionally invested in these people and their lives. I cared about them, worried about them, celebrated things that happened in their lives, and trusted their advice. Smack! Bro, don't be so naive. Don't be so gullible. Look, I get there's a lot of lonely people out there and have social issues and stuff like that, but you gotta overcome that and not make this type of thing. A lot of people that you may be talking to online are not at all who you think they are. I now know that every one of those conversations was actually with my wife. The so-called friend became someone whose opinion I valued. Through him, she gradually influenced the way I thought about her. He would speak positively about her, encourage me to see her in a certain light, and over time, I found myself becoming emotionally attached to her. So these people he talked to, who were really all his wife, basically was encouraging him to date her, move forward with her, and obviously marry her. That is messed up. I was also led to believe that if I married her, there could be a future professional and financial opportunities through this friend and his family. No money was ever taken from me, but I was given the impression that marrying her could eventually connect me to opportunities in a powerful network. Oh, good Lord. So is this like a test on her part? If you follow through with this, you don't care about her, you cared about the financial gain of, you get the point? There were also conversations where this friend encouraged me to become more romantic with her, spend more time with her, get physically closer to her, kiss her, and take the relationship forward. At the time, I believed this was advice from a trusted friend who knew both us very well. Looking back, I now realize it was actually her influencing my decisions through another identity. This is psycho, man. They can make a movie about this. Looking back now, I don't know how much of my thinking was generally mine and how much was influenced by conversations with people who never existed. Smack! Well, start thinking for yourself, pal. When I confronted my wife, she admitted everything. Well, I'm kind of actually shocked she did. I figured you'd get some lies and cries and all that first. Her explanation is that she loved me deeply and was terrified of losing me. Uh-huh. She says she never intended to manipulate me. Uh-huh. According to her, she wanted to stay close to me, understand me better, and know how I felt about her, and become someone I would choose. She says she was insecure and afraid that if she approached me honestly, she would lose me. From this guy who has no other people in his life, this is probably the first girl that ever paid attention to him. I highly doubt that. She has apologized repeatedly. Says her intention was never money, revenge, or anything malicious. She says her only intention was to be part of my life and eventually become my partner. Smack! Stop saying partner. Girlfriend, wife, whatever. Okay, let's just say for argument's sake that she was deeply insecure and there was no malice. She really wanted to not mess this up. Well, this is still psycho. And that's the problem. You can't be with someone like this. But I hardly believe that there wasn't any malice intent here. In other words, this wasn't a plan involving multiple people. It appears she maintained all these identities herself for the entire year without her parents knowing the truth. Multiple people he was talking to, it's all her. Let that sink in, guys, for a second here. What makes this difficult is that I don't believe she's a bad person. Smack! You're already making excuses for her, dude. She's nuts. She's been caring, supportive, loving, and generally devoted to me in many ways. I know she loves me, but I also cannot ignore what she did. No, you can't ignore what she did. And bro. The thing I keep coming back to is this. If I had known the truth from the beginning, would I still have chosen her? And the honest answer is, I'm not sure. Smack! If you knew all along this was her doing this, come on. That uncertainty is breaking my heart. The conversations were real, the emotions were real, my attachment was real, but the people were not. Brother, you fell prey to someone like this. It happens, but you can't stay with her, and you got to work on your social skills so that your major social circle, people of confidence, aren't online you never met. Now I feel both angry and heartbroken. Part of me sees a woman who loved me so much that she spent an entire year trying to stay in my life. No, she spent a whole year manipulating you so she could get what she wanted. Another part of me sees someone who's created an entire fictional world and used it to influence my thoughts, emotions, romantic decisions, and possibly even my decision to marry her. You bet your butt it was the influence of the decision to marry her. There is another complication. Oh, gee, wonderful. We had a large engagement ceremony attended by both families and many relatives. Everyone knows that we are engaged and our wedding celebration is planned for early next year. However, we were also quietly completed a legal marriage in private, which very few people know about. So from a legal perspective, we are already husband and wife. Oh, God. That means I'm not deciding whether to continue dating someone. I'm trying to decide whether I can continue a marriage after discovering that some of the most important people in my life over the last year never actually existed. No, you should not stay with her annulment, amiga, but we'll get back to that later. He says he has family. He doesn't socialize with them. My parents also became emotionally invested in many of these stories and people. What? Was he just talking about that? Well, his parents were like, son, get the hell out of the house. Talk to people instead of online. They never directly communicated with these identities, but they heard about them, knew about them, and cared about what was happening in their lives. Or maybe the parents are like, okay, our weird son's talking to somebody, fine. They wouldn't think that he might fall under the influence of some of these people. You don't know who you're talking to, guys. Again, it's one thing if you're just casually... I know a lot of people comment in the comment section of these videos and are acquainted with each other, and that's cool. But you're not building your whole lives over it, and he kind of was, and using their influence on his daily decisions. My wife is begging me not to tell my parents because she loves them and considers them family. She's also terrified of losing their trust and affection. She's terrified the parents will say, this chick is crazy and need to get rid of her. That's what it's really about. So I generally want honest opinions. Would you consider this a forgivable mistake if the motivation was love rather than money or malice? Smack! Dude, really? Could trust ever be rebuilt after discovering that multiple people you thought were real were actually your partner? Smack! Again, really? Does it change your opinion that her parents were completely unaware of what she was doing and only discovered recently, just like I did? Well, of course they're not aware, but I would imagine if they're good parents, they would have told her that what she's doing is so effed up on so many levels. Would you tell your parents if they had been emotionally invested in these stories? Yes, I would tell the parents. If you were already legally married but had not yet had the public wedding celebration, how would this affect your decision? Lawyer? That's the first thing I'm thinking, and then annulment. The B is crazy. Please be honest. I'm not looking for validation. I generally don't know whether I'm looking at a deeply loving person who made a terrible mistake or a level of deception and manipulation that should be impossible to overlook. What do you think, bro? Right now, I feel too emotionally involved to judge it clearly myself. Advice request. I generally don't know what to do next. I'm not trying to decide whether my wife loves me. I believe she does. What I'm struggling with is whether marriage can survive this level of deception when the deception was motivated by love rather than money, revenge, or malice. Good heavens. I feel like my trust has been shattered, and I don't know whether I am reacting emotionally because I only discovered this recently, or whether this is something that should fundamentally change how I view the relationship. If you're in my position, what factors would you consider before deciding whether to stay or leave? Would you take time to process everything first, or would this discovery alone be enough to end the marriage? I would appreciate honest opinions from people who have experienced serious breaches of trust in relationships. Good Lord Almighty. Well, before I get to the comment sections and more things he says here, he asked a lot of questions, and clearly this is, again, like I said at the beginning, coming from a guy who clearly is unbelievably gullible and naive to believe a lot of the things that went down, who obviously he's got social issues, and otherwise he wouldn't be spending so much time a day talking to strangers. And not to mention, I want to know how he got involved and met her. But summing the whole thing up, what should he do? Lawyer, annulment. Okay, I would say it hasn't been that long. If it's been longer than, well, no, I guess it's been a year that they've known each other. I don't know what, but the point is, annulment if you can, divorce if you can't. Take the hit and move on. She has serious problems. You can't have a relationship without trust. And is there any trust here when she was, for a year, 5 or 6 different people you chatted with online and was using that to sway you and manipulate you? That's the better word to describe it, to get closer to her, get engaged to her, marry her? No. And if that's your idea of love, brother, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. That's a bad word to say. You're in up shit creek without a paddle. Can you imagine raising children with someone like this? No. She needs a one-way trip to a room with rubber walls. She needs serious professional help. Good God Almighty. There is obviously things wrong with her. Really, brother, have some self-respect. You need to tell your parents, even though it's embarrassing, and if they're good parents and they're not nuts, and she didn't make them up, joke, and they would tell you, get away from her, regardless of how she acts around them. And if you don't do that, good luck. You're going to be sleeping with one eye open the rest of your life. And having kids with someone like this, and I can begin to imagine what she's capable of. But anyhow, guys, there you go. This is, like I said, a different type of story. It's this could be a movie, if not a mini-series or something like that, or you can make a Law and Order episode out of this, and then where then she might do something crazy, and they're all dragged off in court, or she's going to the loony bin. I don't know what, but there you go. And I guess the main story and theme here is, guys, even though you're a little socially awkward, try to, people you consider friends, like real ones, to get opinions from and all that, have people outside of what you're typing on your computer, okay? Again, if it's goofing around here and there in the comments, like videos like this, or blogs or things like Reddit that you like to talk to, but you got to have a life outside that thinking, because you just never know who's talking to you. And this is nuts, but this is definitely different. I've been doing this a long time. And if he stays with her, I don't feel bad for anything that happens after that. Now, a few comments. One guy says, I would be terrified of that person. That's about the highest level of psychopathy there is. I could never close my eyes and sleep next to her. This is a complete effing mental. You keep saying she loves you. Bro, that's the kind of love that gets people offed. That's the kind of love that led John Lennon's fan to do what he did. And he says, our guy here says, absolutely true. And there were instances of these personalities fighting and arguing with each other. I can't even believe how she pulled this off. So I guess he's in a chat room or however he's talking to these people on blogs, on whatever, and they're actually arguing with each other, all with her arguing with her other personalities. Damn. Another one says, you had conversations for 5 to 6 hours of people you never met in person or spoke to on the phone, ? Your wife's betrayal aside, you need to search within yourself and figure out why you attach yourself to these virtual relationships instead of in-person relationships. You let someone who you don't know in any way influence your decision to marry somebody. Yes, your wife is incredibly deceitful, even if it was out of love, and he uses that sarcastically. It doesn't matter why she did it, it matters that she did do it. I suggest therapy for yourself, not only for recovering from the manipulation and betrayal trauma, but to figure out why you create unhealthy attachments and create healthy attachments in the future, help you create healthy attachments in the future. Yeah, this guy needs some serious professional help, not just her digging in why he did all these things, you know? And, well, frankly, he shouldn't have attachments to anybody or anything, because your attachments will cause suffering. That's a whole other thing I can get into. And one more. This guy says, I would run. She can say it wasn't to manipulate you, but there really is no other explanation. She went to great lengths for an extended period of time to manipulate and control your emotions and greatly influence your decisions. She didn't even consider the level of betrayal and heartache you would go through if and when you found out. I would never be able to trust her again, and this points to mental health issues. I would leave immediately and file for an annulment. You should absolutely tell your parents about this too. She is again trying to control and influence your decisions and manage her image rather than accept responsibility for her choices. This woman is dangerous. Best of luck. This is definitely a story I'm going to be looking for updates on about what's going on here. And you guys see it, please. I got to know how this thing turns out. Yeah, a lot of the stories I cover, I want to know how they turn out. Some I don't care, but this is one I really want to know where this thing goes. So guys, there you go. Lots of lessons in the story. Really do your homework on who you get involved with. Really do your homework. If you're talking to people online, if it's casual, fine, but be careful. There are a lot of wackos out there. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And if you like the video, share it with your friends and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.